Are we? But I'm trying to go live on Instagram. It's never as easy as I want it to be. There we go! Live! Yay! No, nobody's excited. We are live, you guys!
Oh.
Aren't y'all excited that we're...
I'm waiting for the... We're live. So we are live. And we guess we're doing Instagram because that's always the one that...
Yes, exactly.
Takes a second. So we're just going to go ahead and start it. Hey! For women of FWA. It's on two different laptops.
We're sorry. I didn't know it was going to be that big of a problem. We're only 7 minutes late because of Veronica.
And stuff. She kind of, when she was younger, she really wanted to be ingrained into the company and like go around sales calls and stuff. And now
stay afloat. And then with the tax knowledge that I had, and a lot of times on Facebook, you know, I find myself engaging with, I hate the term because it's a little cliche, but it's just what pops into my head, like fencepreneurs. Those people.
We're live. We're live.
Yes, I only say it like 15 or 20 times. You know, I've been uploading all of our stuff onto womenfwa.com so that you can access our information.
With SWI Wyoming. Casper, to be exact.
Only.
Thank goodness. Could you imagine a couple of me?
No. And especially not a couple of you as a balancing mom.
That you're my best friend. You're my best friend. To my head about my new best friend. Trail never ends. Can't we still pretend? Won't let us know unless you let me know. Tell me to go. Oh, if it feels so.
Hey, y'all! Very quickly, so like, I forget, like, when I'm posting to groups, like, to pay attention. So, like, I'm part of a fencing group with the swords. I posted on their page. And then apparently, like, whenever you go on a fence cruise, like, you can join the the cruise you're actually going's on page. And I accidentally posted to their page, too.
You're just like, select all.
Oops. Man.
Michaela's ready. She's all about this. So, like, we're here to celebrate and get to know, like, Susan K. Worley. Like, who is she?
Hey, Susan K. Worley.
yeah.
She's a bitch. She's a lover. She's a child. She's a mother. She's a sinner. She's a saint. And she does not feel ashamed.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Did you
I've been
rehearse
plugging that
that?
all day long? All day long.
Did you rehearse that?
Oh, man. You're welcome, Veronica.
I don't know whether to be proud or. And there's not a lot of people out there that know, like, the bitchy side of you. Everybody thinks you're, you know, sweet and love everybody. And, like, I'll just call it out the way that it is.
I am the nicest person you'll ever meet.
I
When
knew
Brian called me a
Veronica would be
bully-
good.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
When Brian calls me a bully, I'm like, shh, people don't need to know that.
See, that's why I knew Veronica was going to be good to come on this live to bring out that side of you.
For sure.
You know, I think the best part of it is Susan found a meme not too long ago and sent it to me privately. And she says, it's always the friend that is a giant bitch that's a secret sweetheart. And then the one that is a big sweetheart in public is really a secret bitch about it. And I was like, there is nothing more fitting than that.
Don't believe her world. That's not true. I am very pleasant. Man.
All right, let's
Hey, Andrea, this is the Andrea show, y'all.
It's all right. I love it. So no, really, who is Susan K. Worley?
Man, I'm just a left-handed Gemini who was born in the greatest generation of all time. Living her life, man. No, I mean, I'm the executive director of the Fence Workers Association. I mean, I wear a lot of hats, right, Yadira? I mean, I don't
Absolutely.
know what my job description is, so I just do what I want and ask for forgiveness. A lot of
Well,
forgiveness.
you do it good, and you hustle, and you work hard. So that's all we ask, you know.
At least they think that.
We
Thank
fully
goodness. I didn't go to Target today during working
You get
hours at
paid to-
all.
But
I think
but
we
you get
lost
paid to bully
Veronica.
Brian. Like,
So he's so smart about it, right? Because I'll be like yesterday, we're talking, and I'm like, hey, listen, like I don't like when you do this because I put a lot of work into this, and like you just kind of winged it, right? And there's no point in me doing that extra work if you're gonna wing it. Like if you want to wing it, I support you. And he's like, yeah. Hey, I gotta take this call. Bye. So yeah, that's how that goes. I can only bully him for a second, then he gets a phone call he has to take.
weird.
Susan, how long have you been in the fence industry?
So I was thinking about that today because I saw it on your question, like how long have I been here? And I was like, it feels like 10 years, right? But I actually, my son's 8. I started like right after he was born, so 8 years.
Nice.
Goes fast, doesn't it?
It does,
Yeah.
and it feels way longer than it's been.
What did you do before the fence industry? Before your kiddo?
Yeah, so before I made the transition, I really believed my heart was in hospitality, that I was going to work in hotels and restaurants for the rest of my life. I really wanted to teach people how to go into situations where the customer was really angry and just kind of how to diffuse it, how to make them feel heard and stuff like that. So basically just like straight up pure customer service and turning like bad restaurants and hotels into good restaurants and hotels, because I mean, food that can always be changed, you know, cleanliness that can always be fixed, but it's really hard to teach people how to interact with other people. So like I was going to college full time at LSU, and I was working in restaurants and hotels. I was actually at like a boutique hotel here in Baton Rouge. I actually opened the property when I actually came over to Southwest Automated Security. I forgot the name. But they actually found me like a year before that on accident. So I was working at maybe a Hyatt place or something like that. And I was a bartender and room service attendant at night because I was going to school all day long. And I was working some random breakfast service. And these 2 gentlemen came in at like 6 o'clock on the dot. And there's a sign up that says, please seat yourself. And okay, Veronica, I don't want to hear from you either. Anyway, and they were like, hey, can we just sit anywhere? I was like, no, sir, there's a waiting list, obviously. Like, you're standing next to a sign that says, please seat yourself. Like, anyway, I found it very annoying. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be a little mean to these guys through the whole service. But I mean, very attentive. And they sat through my entire breakfast. When I say, like, that's how I make money. Like, breakfast should be like 10 minutes max, like, and $5 tip left on the table, and then you're gone so the next person can come. And so basically at the end of that breakfast service that they sat through the whole time, they offered me a job, and I was like, I'm going to school full time. I don't know how you can do it. Went for an interview. They were like, oh, hold on, you go to school all day long. Wasting my time, man. They was just wasting my time. And so that's actually, I walked out of the interview and my mom's like, well, I'm looking for a job. Do you think I can do the job? I'm like, yes. So I called him up. I was like, hey, I've got somebody else who is actually going to be really good for this job. And it was like RMAs and warranties. Like, you got to be a stickler for that job specifically. Right. And that's where she started. And then a year later, I walked in to like say hi to her. And apparently I was there for an interview, and I started the following Monday after I had my kid.
How funny. So you actually went in for an interview and ended up getting your mom the job?
Mm-hmm.
I love that story.
Isn't it wild?
That is wild. So, would you say that starting at SAS was your start in the fence industry?
100%. When I first started there, obviously, like I wasn't, like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't want to know anything about gate operators or access control. Like I didn't like it wasn't a career or anything like that. It was a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, like get paid and move on, right? Like, and then she looked at me one day and she said, "Listen, this is an employee-owned company. This is a career. Like, you need to make a solid decision right now." And I guess I woke up and smelled the coffee and turned everything into a game, sales into a game, competing against everybody in the office, like trying to learn more than everybody else. So like, yeah, I just got really hungry. And of course, the Cobbs are at Disneyland.
Of course.
Jealous.
And they're
So
watching
jealous.
us. That's so sweet. That real fast. You know what, you guys? I wanted to mention. I was thinking about this today, because I know we want to, do better lives next year, and even possibly reach out for sponsorship. Straight up, I want everybody to know that JC Guri is definitely 100% a sponsor of the Women of FWA and always have been, completely in support of us, provide all kinds of financial relief for us, support us 100%, mention us around every single corner. Like, I will be adding a JC Guri logo to our banner. I'm going to redesign it for 2025, and they will be at the top of it because they have been behind us since day one.
Yes.
And on every live, I mean, if there's anything out there regarding Women of FWA, they're the first ones that are involved and commenting and involved.
Yes.
So it means the world to us.
Yeah, and even at Disneyland, they're watching.
Yeah.
Right?
So sweet.
I'd be like, sorry, I'm on Splash Mountain. I got to go.
What Women of FWA notification?
Yeah, weird.
All right. Susan, your hospitality background, did that play and that knowledge play into your fence in, like, which is his? Was the knowledge you got from doing hospitality play a big role in your part in the fence industry?
First of all, I would like Yadira to verify that this is a lie.
And that's
We have
what made
determined
me
that is a lie.
Okay, so yes, 100%. It definitely played into me. Well, we did desk sales, phone sales, and stuff like that. So like that level of like bringing somebody down off of a ledge. And let me tell you, I made people mad often. Like, I don't control warranties. I don't control the weather. You know what I mean? But it doesn't change how somebody feels on the other side of the phone, especially when we're talking about money. You know what I mean? So I definitely brought that into and brought the entire office up to a level of hospitality that didn't exist, right? Answering the phone with a smile, going above and beyond, under promising and over delivering, making sure that, every interaction was special, like whether it was a remote or, a $50,000 job, right? Like, to me, every penny and every dollar counts. Like, I remember being on the road and somebody saying like, I won't be a big account for you. Like, I don't know, like, why you would even want to work with me. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're not a big account right now. We don't know where you're going to be next year. And secondly, like, if you want to do this, I want to do it with you. And like, that guy in the span of a year and a half became my biggest customer. You know what I mean? He didn't think that of himself. So like, because I picked up the phone, because I answered the phone, I know, right? God. Other side of the fence, good one. Yeah. Hey, Sean, I'm back's feeling better. But yeah, 100%. Definitely, hospitality is important. It's hard to teach people how to just care.
Yeah. Empathy is a big one in our industry at all. And there's a lot of people that don't realize the difference between sympathy and empathy. And it's a huge thing. And once you become empathetic to those people that are calling, it's amazing how the customer service in yourself changes when you realize the difference between those two.
That's interesting that you bring it up. I remember one of my pastors once saying, you can only show empathy in one of two ways. One with your time, or two with your money. And I'm not giving my customers any money, right? So like giving them the time, even when it was after hours, even when it was a Saturday, now, like if I couldn't do it, like I would say, here, this is a boundary today you're crossing, like I can't do this. But like, if I could, I would, you know what I mean? Like running up to the office real fast and like giving them the control board they need to make sure that they have the weekend and the paychecks to pay their employees and the,
Right.
and the relief of stress of not having to wait till Monday. If I could do that, it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
And I think that's what's also so important, and how you fit in so well into Fence Workers Association, because it kind of flows, from giving that customer service to all of our members, all of our people who play a big part in the association. So
Absolutely. I definitely believe I was led to this. Like it wasn't an accident. I definitely believe I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and completely blessed by it. So
yeah.
We're blessed to have you. Let's be honest. The industry as a whole and what you're doing and the paths that you're, crushing through to make things happen. I mean, things that haven't happened, or taking some crazy ideas from Brian, and then, then tackling this whole Women of FWA thing, which, if you would have told me in Oklahoma just a couple years ago that's you and Brian bombarding me at a kickoff party after, I've had a few drinks, even though you've never met me before, we would be where we're at today. I mean, I wouldn't have believed it. And so just definitely helping, pave the way and make things happen.
who let Brian have control of my fence life? Oh my goodness.
With what Veronica just said, it brings me to my next question. Why made you want to start the Women of FWA?
I'm not going to say I wanted to. I'm going to be honest with you, like that. You want to know the truth, right? Like,
Yeah.
when Brian said it to me, and I'm like, why? We're all fencers. That doesn't make any sense to me, right? And so I started talking to Veronica, and when Veronica said, no, I won't do it the way it's already been done. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you want to do it? And when she sat down and literally like opened my eyes, and it I love that so much. Anyways, and like basically explained to me like there aren't enough women who are able to put those phone numbers in their phone and to have that connection. It clicked for me because like one of the things that was really important to me at SAS was because we were small branches of 3 and 4 employees, like that wasn't enough people for me to connect with, right? So I would literally pick up the phone there and dial different people and find out what they were good at, like find out how they could help me in the future, how I could help them, like what their strengths were. And like I found my person at every single branch and multiple people at every single branch, right? Because like I just have no fear to do that. Like, but can you think of how many people in this industry don't have a voice, don't have multiple locations to call, don't have multiple women to connect with? And when she said it like that, and I'm like, oh man, I hate when people like tell me what to do. Like this makes me so mad that I was just so like, we're all fencers. Like, why do we need a separate women's club? Like, this is weird. And she's like, well, that's what the problem is. That's how it's always been. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to provide training, education, networking, connection, and we're going to have fun doing it. And don't get me wrong, there are hard days. There are days when we don't like each other. There are days when I'm like, I said something just a little bit wrong, and Veronica's like, at 11 o'clock at night, hey, can you call me? And at 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just realized what I said, and it was so ugly. You know what I mean? So like, it, yeah. That's my soapbox.
So it was Veronica then.
Mm-hmm.
Susan and Brian.
Listen, no, straight up. I am not an ideas man. I am the integrator. I am the person who makes it happen. I don't have these grand and wonderful ideas. I just see a piece of what you're doing and I drag it out and I pull it out of you and I mold you and I push you. Whether you recognize it or not,
You
I
do.
did not do this.
Yeah.
You really do.
I just tell you, yes, you can, or no, you cannot. And this is why. I don't just say no without saying, you know, for no reason. I say it because, listen, this person's going to feel this way, or it's going to look this way. Or is that really what we're about? Or was that your original goal? And if it was, I misunderstood that. Right.
Mhm.
So.
And there's definitely a lot of that, keeping our foundation and keeping what those very beginning conversations and ideas are about, and making sure that we're still sticking to that and we're still serving, you know, the women in the industry and the industry as a whole. You know, and it is a fine line and a balance. And Susan's usually the first one to be like, V, you're going to hurt someone's feelings. And my response 99% of the time is, I don't care. So ask her, she will tell you. But so she's a good balance on that too. You know, we don't always agree on certain things. But then, you know, everybody that's involved in Women of FWA, whether if you're a member of us and joining lives, or you're a part of the ambassador team, you know, there's a lot of strong personalities out there. And we're embracing them. And sometimes there's differences. Sometimes, you know, there's difference in opinion. Susan usually has a tendency to take that fine line between the two, and she'll walk across it and tiptoe across it. And then there's, you know, other people that just bulldoze and just, this is how I feel about it. She's a great balance and a great, you know, contributor just to our everyday.
So what you're saying is that Susan took one of Brian's crazy ideas and ran with it.
Shocking, huh? She does that every day.
Every day.
Every
You
day.
have no idea what I'm working on right now. I literally found out on social media, like, if you want to have your own job fair, just contact me. I've got it all outlined. That's what I did last night.
Oh man.
I think it's a wonderful idea. Like, yeah, like the trades don't have a lot of industry trade shows. Like, I've been to many job fairs in the past, but they were more on a professional level where you wore a suit and tie, and it wasn't catered to people who used their hands and did any kind of physical labor. And so, like, okay, this kind of is something niche and smart and unique, but how do we make sure it's successful, right? Like, so yeah. Because Brian's just over here like, should I have tables at it? And I'm like, stop. Duh.
It's all those fine details, though, that also, you know, need a woman's touch.
Yeah.
And that is not, you know, you guys have heard me say it a million times that women and men, we just think differently. There's nothing that, I mean, it's proven, nothing against either one of them.
Right.
But those little fine touches and those details tend to be more on the female side.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Susan, is there someone that you look up to in the fence industry, or
In the
outside-
industry?
or outside, just anyone that you
I
look
mean,
up to?
yes, I have several mentors. I think it's really dependent on like what the situation is. Like, I don't have one mentor that covers like every single box, except for probably my parents, right? Like, they're the one people I can, a set of humans that I can go to and say anything, and like, they still love me afterwards, right? Like,
They have to. They
like, they
sign
don't have
a
a
birth
choice,
certificate.
right?
That's an obligation.
Right. That's how I feel. And like, I can be like really stressed out and mean sometimes, right? But like, those are my people, you know. Inside the industry, like, I mean, Brian's my go-to for like anything and everything marketing. Steve Alsop at SAS is my anything to go to when it comes to like just the socialite side of the industry, you know, because it does require a level of like being out there and being open to people. And like, that's not something I find that comes naturally to me. Like, I can sit in a room with 1,000 people and talk to nobody and be okay with it. You know what I mean? But like, my job doesn't require that anymore. It requires me to interact with people and learn about them and stuff like that. Jeff Goodwin, as a CEO and president of a company, you know, understanding numbers and books. And then Ken Johnson, like over at SAS, like was my like everything I needed on the business side, like, and understanding numbers and learning numbers and growing and understanding those numbers and how important they are, right? Like, he was my like rock, like, for anything and everything. But like, I mean, golly, Yadira is one of my emotional like lampposts, like, for real. Like, she's probably the only person here who genuinely knows like I'm a little bit crazy. Andrea, like, because she keeps me like super freaking organized. Like, she reminds me of everything that I have not written down. Veronica keeping me honest even when I don't want to be honest. You know, I could keep going. Like, you know, Michaela with like Michaela has this level of wisdom that I don't
Beyond
have
her
yet.
years, for
Yes,
sure.
I agree. Like, where
Yeah.
she recognizes something and I've just kept it quiet. Brian, I said you when it comes to marketing, because you're a master marketer and a master taster. You know, you're the master of your domain.
Don't
for
feed
sure.
his ego. Stop,
Right?
stop.
Right? You know, Heather keeps me emotional, keeps me realistic, you know, makes me aware that it's okay to be in touch with my emotions. Tiffany, man, she makes me feel so smart. Like, so smart. And then Bailey makes me feel wise, right? Like, I feel like every person I come into contact with, I have something to learn from, and hopefully I can share something with them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you too, Michaela.
Who are you outside of the fence industry? What are your hobbies? What do you do to wind down from a rough day at work? You got a kiddo.
I love my kid. He's like literally my favorite person. Yadira got to meet him for the first time in real life, like last week or the week before. And he hugged everybody. And as they were walking away and we were leaving and they were leaving, he's like, I hope I get to see y'all again. And he's like, I love this. Yeah.
I mean, it's so cute.
Sweet.
So definitely my tiny human. I love him. He's awesome. He makes me feel amazing. I like to bake. I love to shop. Like, I'm a full-on, like, I love to shop. I'm sorry. It's a problem. Just pure girl when it comes to that. Unwind from I hate the wintertime because I can't get in the pool, right? Like, you know, I'm in my pool like all the time. Like, in the summer, like it's like where I throw my ideas around, I get some exercise, I have a couple of drinks, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like my happy place. It's in my backyard. I love to drink.
Susan, you need a hot tub now.
Yes.
I'm with you on that, but you don't exercise in a hot tub, you just sit there.
That's true, but it's good in the wintertime.
Yeah.
You guys act like it's cold down in Louisiana in the wintertime.
I
Andrea
know.
and I are up here both giggling, going, okay, so get in the swimming pool.
It got up to 56. I'm in a full-on winter coat over here. I've got wool socks on.
We don't put on real shoes until there's white stuff on the ground. Like, flip-flops, they can be 30 degrees and we're still in flip-flops. See?
My kid's up here going, Mom, I wish it would snow this year. I'm like, shut up. Don't say that.
Tell her to come on up. We'll share ours with her this spring.
For sure. Absolutely.
I think Vegas is too cold in the winter too. I go there expecting it to be warmer. California. Why is California cold in the summer? That makes no sense to me.
It's because the wind comes in off of the water.
Yeah, as soon as that sun goes down, it's cold.
I've been there with the sun up and it was cold in summertime.
That's true.
Well, you think everything's cold. If it's not 130 degrees,
Yes.
you're freezing.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
I am wintered.
No.
I am. But yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I like a little bit of TV from time to time. I don't watch it as much as I'd like to, but I'm too busy.
Last and final question. Do you have any personal goals for yourself for the upcoming year?
Personal or business?
Personal.
personal.
Yes.
One thing I'm trying to do right now is actually like live a completely like debt-free life, right? Like just being financially responsible and learning how to make my money make money. Does that make sense? Like, so just like trying to just be, I guess, a grown up. I don't know like at what age you become a grown up, but I like to think the moment I become like completely debt free, like I've got some student loan debts, you know, a little bit of credit card debt, car notes, stuff like that. Like I'd like to get to a place where like, and I, again, you know, calling it like grown up stuff, like where I'm a grown up. So, so that's one of my big goals.
What a great goal going into the new year.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of also my big ones. So it's always been about, you know, be controlling your debt and stuff, because it's easy. No matter how much money you make, it's easy to be in debt and to, you know, want more, but always living below your means.
It's our society nowadays. I think, you know, it's so easy and so readily available and so common that it's just, you know, like Amazon being the devil. It's convenient. It's, you know, instant gratification. It's, you know what I mean? It's just our society.
Yeah.
So yeah, learn to live with less and be happy with that.
Good for you.
Definitely, you know, living under my means. And just like learning how to just create that generational wealth, right? Like I want to get to a place where I can just breathe and I'm not worried about that, because I know like I've taken all the steps to just be financially responsible.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you follow like the Dave Ramsey and like the Money Guy and
I follow
all those
a couple of different ones. Like I watched this guy today and he basically said, you know, the problem with the lower middle class and the lower class.
Yeah.
Is that the right
middle
word?
class and lower class?
There we go. Is that they work to pay their bills, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm working to pay my bills, right? Like, I don't want to be like that. Like, and he was like, you know, you have to not just save your money. It's not about saving your money anymore. It's about taking that money and making more money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Veronica,
And that's how you pay bills.
That really makes me happy and really makes me proud for sure.
Veronica Iadira, do you have any last minute questions to ask Susan?
I don't.
No, just very happy to have her on the Fence Show and Fence Workers Association, you know, team. So
nice.
I love you guys too.
Susan, thank you. That is really the number one, is thank you for all the hard work that you've put into FWA and your support for women of FWA and the time and the phone calls and the text messages. And, you know, helping us take this crazy idea and make it to something that matters to other women in the industry. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Do I hit end stream now?
Andrea, good job on tonight's questions. Thank you for taking the time to interview Susan and to let the rest of the world dig into the Susan that we all know.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan, for letting me interview you and getting to know you.